So, do you want to just talk us through the different functions of the synth and how it all fits together?
Yeah. So if I power it on for the first time, that's it, booted up, and the first thing you hear is a square wave. What you've basically got is it's like what I call the function dial and the value dial, and you've basically got 16 functions, each with their own value. There's a lookup card to see what some of these symbols mean. It boots up on the waveform select. So if I change the waveform, and then there's actually a green mode. Each of these functions has a green mode. In this case, it changes the bank. And then you've got, so that's just one of the functions. This one's filter select. Then you've got up the top here, you've got the continuous variables. So these will always do the same thing. So you've got filter cutoff, filter resonance, envelope, LFO, amplitude LFO, the distortion, and then if you push this button here, it does what these green buttons do.
See, yeah.
Like that. And then, so for instance, you've got the filter here.
Yeah.
If you go to this function here, that's filter type, and as you turn this, the filter will change. This one up here, filter 7, that's an 100 dB filter.
Wow.
It actually I've discovered after I printed the manual, I got the number wrong, but then I realised I can't reprint the manual, so I had to make it 100 dBs. But it does sound quite intense. So it's,
yeah, that is quite intense, yeah.
then you got the envelope here. Amplitude envelope. And then LFO, you've got LFO shape, you've got 16 different LFO shapes.
Wow.
And then you can change the speed of that. One of the good things with the LFO shapes is because it's digital and you're not using analog circuitry to derive them, you can do some interesting ones like this one. Do a rhythmical one. Now if I leave that on, then I'll move on to the arpeggiator. So let me just see, I've got that on a minute. Oh, this in middle ring does like the clock divide. If you do it, give it a MIDI clock in, it will sync to that. Otherwise, it's just a set rate. So if I turn the arpeggiator on, there's off and 15 patterns. So let's just pick an arbitrary pattern like this one. And again, that has a rate as well, so that's set to quaver. So if I just put it onto semi-quaver.
Oh, that's lovely.
Try a different pattern. With the earlier numbered patterns like 1, that's just a straight up the board. Oh, it's because it's been modulated. It doesn't quite sound like that though. Let's turn that down a bit. And then when you get up here, they're just a bit crazy. I think that's a... What else you got? You got a bit portamento. This thing that's a wave crusher, it's essentially a bit crusher, but you're crushing the waveform rather than your overall output, so it's slightly different sound. It's essentially often 15 useful combinations of bit and sample rate reduction. By the time you're there, that's like 1 bit, 4 samples long, so it's essentially just it's going to be a square wave. If you push this, it then puts that before the filter, so it means you can still filter it. And then you got 16 patches as well. So if I go to there and load one up, there's just a variety of different ones. Should be an arpeggio to that. There we go. And then volume. I think we all know what that does.
Hopefully, yeah.
And the bass boost, that's analog low shelf. And it means it's because it's digital. If you're doing bass sounds, I realised that it was not that bassy essentially because a pure digital waveform isn't. So this just puts a nice warm analog shelf filter on, and you can hear the subs. It's I think it's around 100 hertz. So that's the ATmegatron software.
That is fantastic.
We haven't even touched on any of the other software versions yet. Yeah.
Well, perhaps we'll do that another time, Paul.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah, that would be good. Excellent.
Great. Thanks very much.